Welcome to another episode of In the Bush. I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking, he ain't in the bush, he's in his house. That's a very astute observation. We are in my house right now. That's because we're going to be getting things ready to tap trees because we're going to be making our own maple syrup. So I've been reading up, studying up, and talking to some friends of mine that make their own maple syrup, and I think I have a game plan here. Basically, you drill a hole, a small hole, in a maple tree at a little bit of an angle so that the sap can run out, and then you plug it with some sort of a hose, with something that goes in the hole that they call a spile. Rather than order spiles, I made my own out of little pieces of plastic tubing. And this is some hard plastic tubing I had on hand from brewing beer, so I just took a hacksaw and cut them into 2-inch long pieces. They're going to go in the tree 1.5 inches. So I got some old beer line and stuff from brewing, and we're going to use this. We're going to attach that, I already have here, to my homemade spiles, and then this will go into some sort of a collection system, a bucket or a bottle or something. So what I need to do is get the appropriate size drill bit because I want this spile to fit in the tree very tightly. So I'm going to start with a smaller drill bit than I think I'm going to need and a scrap piece of wood here, and I'm going to get the spile so that it fits in the wood perfectly. So I'm just going to drill a little hole. So the next thing I need to do is see how many maple trees I have and which ones I want to tap. I almost forgot. Before we go outside and look at the trees, once you've selected the right bit, I've got a good fit now. The spile's going right in there good. Once you've selected the right bit, we're going to measure 1.5 inches on this bit. And I'm going to mark it with some tape. So I'm just going to take some electrical tape and wrap around this bit, and we'll know not to go any further into the tree than that. Now, we're going to go scope out some trees. This tree here is looking pretty good. Unfortunately, all my maples are soft maples. I have one hard maple, but it's not big enough yet. So a lot of people will tell you you can't tap soft maples for maple syrup. From the research I've done, I believe that is not true. Hi, Peanut. Anyway, a tree this big, this tree is well over 36 inches. This tree's big. You can tap this up to 6 times. We're only going to tap it once, but you could tap a tree like this up to 6 times. Let's see what else we got. There's another big maple there. I'm definitely going to tap it for sure. So these two right here in my yard, I'm going to tap them, and I've been reassured that I will not kill the tree by only drilling in 1.5 inches. I mean, entire branches fall off of trees during storms and whatnot and doesn't kill them. Drilling in 1.5 inches, the tree will naturally heal. It shouldn't hurt it. Watch all my maple trees in my yard die. Well, I've actually found a total of 6 maple trees that I want to try and tap. I might tap some more later on, but we're going to start with those 6 and just see how much maple water they produce, and we'll go from there. The reason we're doing it, or getting ready to do it now, is the temperature needs to be above freezing during the day and below freezing at night. The next week or so, the forecast is 30s, 40s, and even 50s during the day, and 20s at night. So I think we're going to be in an optimal season there for collecting some maple syrup. Well, it's the next day. We did get a little snow yesterday, but it's going to be melting off fast because although it's cool today, the next 10-day forecast is highs in the upper 30s, 40s, and even 50s. And like I said, lows below freezing at night. Perfect for maple syrup. So I'm going to start with this monster maple tree here in my backyard. And I've been assured that I won't kill it. We've got our drill marked at 1.5 inches. And we're going to go up at a slight angle so the maple water runs out. I've got my spile here with a hose long enough to reach my container here. So I'm going to pick a spot here a couple feet up the tree, and I'm just going to go in at an angle. Not a huge angle, just a little bit of an up and down. Until I get to my tape marker. That's it. Clean it out good. And insert our spile. And I'm going to try to get it in there 1.5 inches. Yeah, I might have to do some experimenting to get my system perfect, but this should work. So now I'm going to do the other 4 trees in the yard. Well, all 4 trees in my yard have been tapped. We'll see how this works. Hopefully, with any luck, we'll get some maple syrup out of the deal. Well, I had to change my collection system up. Unfortunately, the hoses with my homemade spiles running into the buckets or into the blue things weren't working. Well, it was working. I was collecting water, but a lot of it was running down the side of the tree. So I wasn't getting a solid connection at the tree. And the thing is, that's when I realized why spiles are cone-shaped. Most spiles, which is the tapper that goes in the tree, are cone-shaped. So, thanks to my good buddy Mark, he loaned me some of his spiles. I'm going to order some that I'll have for next year, but for this year, he loaned me some of his spiles. And so I tapped them into a tree and just hung a bucket from each one. And once or twice a day, I'm going to dump the buckets into this thing here. I'll show a picture here of what the spiles look like. They're just dripping away, so I'm going to collect them, and then I throw this big jug in the refrigerator. And you want to keep them, collect them daily and refrigerate them, because it can spoil because it has some sugar in it. So now I actually used a twist tie to tie the bucket to the spile so the wind wouldn't blow my buckets off. But as you can see, oh, this is a train wreck. Well, I hiked out here to the cabin and was just checking on it and everything, and decided to have myself a cup of coffee while I was here because I hadn't had my coffee yet today. But here's the thing. I want to have a quick chat with you real quick. There's something you may have noticed. These videos have been different days. This whole maple syrup video has not been one day. In the bush videos are no longer... It's impossible for me to number the individual trips into the bush. It's impossible for me to do this maple syrup video and stuff in one day. So I'm, from now on, the episodes are going to be numbered still, but that doesn't account for individual trips. I've actually went on several hiking trips. I've stayed at the cabin several times. I've done some things out in the bush that I haven't filmed. So I've actually done more now than the numbers reflect. So from now on, each episode alone is going to be numbered instead of each night or each trip into the bush. For example, I might go on a 3-day camp out. That episode will just get one number. So from now on, just the episodes are numbered. That way you can watch them in order and you can still learn along the way with me. Well, I managed to secure, over the last couple of days, 5 gallons of maple water. So I'm pretty excited about that. I have my 5-gallon turkey fryer here. Same one we used when we brewed beer. If you haven't seen that episode, check it out. I want to sincerely apologize for the wind. It is super windy today. We might even run into some storms. Hopefully not. But I got to get this done because you're not really supposed to let this maple water sit for more than 7 days. But I've had it in the fridge. And anyway, I'm going to get a fire started here and we're going to start boiling this stuff down. So while our fire is heating up, I'm going to go ahead and pour the maple water into the pot. But one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to pour it through this strainer lid thing to try to eliminate some of the little specks of bark and stuff that get in it. So I need to figure out a way to mount this real quick. When in doubt, use a stick. So I'm just going to slowly and carefully pour this in. Not making too big of a mess. Now, I think it's step 230. Step 230 brought to you by Hip Bone Sam. Check him out. My friend Kevin Hawkins. Awesome dude. Very talented musician. Oh, that hits the spot. It's hot out today. It's in the 70s. It's too hot for me, I can tell you that much. And it's too early to be this dang hot. I had to get the canopy out because it started raining. The problem is it's windy, so I have to keep a close eye on the canopy. If it gets too windy, I'll have to take it down. But so far so good. As you can see, the steam is rolling right off the top of my pot. When that gets down fairly low, then I have to control the heat a little bit more because I don't want to scorch it. But we're rolling right along. Making maple syrup is an all-day thing, the boiling down process, if you have a lot of it. There are more efficient ways to do it. You can build evaporators and whatnot. You can use, next year I'm going to try to use pans. That way there's more surface area in contact with the fire and it'll boil and evaporate quicker. But this is the basic premises of it, and I can see where, like, if you had a big operation, it would be a really fun day. You'd get the whole family together and you would boil down maple syrup. You'd have one person cutting wood, you'd have another person feeding the fire, because you have to keep a flame on this to keep it boiling. So all day I've just been sitting here just snapping off twigs and feeding them in the fire. And I've just been doing that all day, hanging out with Peanut here. And you know, it's just been kind of a fun experience. I know this is a non-traditional episode. I know we're not out in the bush. We're actually in my driveway. I get it. One of the things I wanted to say is In the Bush is going to start incorporating, we're going to start incorporating more homesteading type activities. I'm going to show you some gardening tricks and stuff too, hopefully. So it's not just going to be all about walking out in the woods. It's also going to be about other things that one needs to survive. And hey, let's face it, I live in the country. We're still in the bush. It's storming. And I'm holding my tent so it doesn't blow away. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No, I just got that on camera. Oh, 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 Lord, have mercy. Oh, this is not good.
8:30 p.m. A severe thunderstorm was located over Fort Madison, moving east at 55 miles an hour. Expected hazards include 60 miles an hour wind gusts. Expect damage to roofs, siding, and
yeah, we got the wind gusts part.
severe thunderstorm will remain over
Got that.
rural areas of northeastern Lee County, including the following locations: Paul Miller Park, Sawyer, Weaver, Bluff Park, Fort Madison Municipal Airport, and Augusta. A tornado watch remains in effect
yeah,
until
and
11
outside of
p.m.
Montrose,
Central
southern
Illinois
Lee County
and
too, buddy.
southeastern Iowa. Take cover now. A tornado watch remains in effect until
Tornado
11
watch.
p.m. for west central Illinois and southeast.
I'm hoping that there was no permanent damage to my canopy tent, because I really like that canopy tent, and I really enjoy setting that up on a lot of my campouts just to have some shade and protection, etc. But it seems the worst of the storm is blowing over now, and I'm going to be able to get back out there to my fire. If you build a really good fire, chances are it will withstand a torrential downpour. You know, maybe not a prolonged torrential downpour, but as you just seen from my fire there, it did just fine. So I ended up getting 2 jelly jars full of syrup out of the deal, and it turned out delicious. I let several people try it, and we also compared it to some real maple syrup from the store, and we all decided that this was better. So out of about 5 gallons of maple water, we ended up with 2 jelly jars full. I couldn't be happier. Considering these are silver maples, I was really happy with the product. It kind of had a caramely, butterscotchy kind of flavor. It wasn't as dark colored as traditional maple syrup, but oh my gosh, it is absolutely delicious. Well, it is 1 week later, and we have, as you can see, much better weather this time. I don't have to worry about getting rained out or stormed out like I did last time, and we've got clear blue skies. It's beautiful. Boiling down this week's collection of maple water, we've got about, we started with about 3.5 gallons, I would say, somewhere around there, maybe 4 gallons. I'll be happy with 1 jelly jar full of syrup out of this deal. Right now, the kettle is boiling away, and we've got about maybe 2 gallons of liquid in the kettle right now. So it'll be a couple more hours before it gets down close to the right consistency. Once your syrup gets to a syrupy consistency, you want to put it in a heavy bottom pan and take it inside and put it on the stove to finish it. Or I could finish it on my wood stove if I was in my cabin. But you want to be able to control the heat so that it doesn't scorch or burn. So we're just about to the consistency that we want right now. In fact, we are there. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the heat and let it quit bubbling, and then I'm going to jar this up. Now, you would normally use a refractometer, and you would measure the bricks, which is the percentage of sugar. And you want between 66 and 68 bricks, or between 66 and 68% sugar. I do not have a refractometer that will work for this, so I'm just eyeballing it, and I've just been tasting it by simply dipping a fork in it and tasting the fork. But yeah, it's I think it's good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and jar this up. I finally got my chicken and waffles. So, as you remember in episode number, I believe it's 53, 1 year in the bush, check that episode out if you haven't already. I was going to make chicken and waffles at the cabin, and I totally forgot the maple syrup. We made our own. And you all remember my friend Steven. Steven stopped by to pay me a visit today, and so I made us both some chicken and waffles with real maple syrup straight from the trees in the yard here. So I'm going to grab my fork here, and this is the first chance I've had to eat the maple syrup on something like a waffle or a pancake. So I think it passes the test. Mm-hmm. I think it does just fine. Try a little piece of chicken.
I had a little head start. You served me first. Very good.
Always serve your guest first. Ooh. The butter. Yeah, ooh. Chicken and waffles. What a treat. Like I said, I've been wanting this for a while. So this is how easy it is to make your own maple syrup right from the trees in your own forest or your own yard. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you in the next episode in the bush.